Go ahead and get started then. Hello, everybody. Greetings. Thank you all for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about Caring Campus certification, how it works, and why you would bother doing it, and all of that great stuff. We'll have time for Q&A at the end, but if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will get to those as soon as we can. My name is Bola, that's B-O-L-A, and I am Associate Vice President of Caring Campus here at IABC. And again, it's my pleasure to welcome everybody to our little webinar today. So let's get started. That was our welcome. There we go. And the first thing we're going to do actually is start with breakouts. What I'd like to do is have you all think of a time when you were recognized for your work or for a contribution to a project. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes in groups to introduce yourselves and share a little bit about how that kind of recognition made you feel. And then we'll come back and have a couple of people share what the responses were. So we got a couple extra admissions, so let's do that first. All right, now we'll do the breakouts. Okay, about 3 minutes. All right, I think everyone's back, just coming back. What I'd like to do actually is ask you all in just a couple of words, put in the chat um, how that recognition made you feel. Caring Campus is all about the affective, and what we're interested in is understanding how being recognized can make you feel. Valued, thank you, Amanda. Proud, appreciated, yes. Validated, I like that word. Seen and heard, which are very important for making any kind of a connection. Absolutely. Well, thank you all. And those are exactly the kinds of things that we're thinking about as we move into the idea of Caring Campus certification, which is recognition for your entire campus, college or university. Briefly, the certification itself is it's a new recognition program that we started last year. And indeed, it validates your commitment to institutionalizing your culture of care. We have bronze, silver, and gold level certification. And these come with digital badges and certificates. So we use the open badges system. So your badges actually have little serial numbers to show that they're truly legit and can't be forged or anything like that. The idea is to assess your practices, policies, and outcomes um, to see how well you're doing along your path to long-term success. There we go. In order to get to certification, first and foremost, your institution, your college or university must be a member of the Caring Campus Network. And if you have questions about the network or you're not sure about that, we can talk about that at the end. But the short version is if you are not sure whether your institution is a member of the network, you can just check with us and we'll let you know one way or the other. But eligibility for certification is one of the benefits, one of the many benefits of network membership. And so that's the first thing that needs to be kept in mind there. There's an online application. We'll have a link at the end where you'll be able to see where that is. And the application is sort of like a self-study, a mini self-study. It's not as comprehensive as accreditation or anything like that. But it asks for your narrative responses to a variety of criteria, as well as the option to upload documents, files that support, that show as evidence of the criteria that are under discussion. Then we at IABC will receive your application, we'll evaluate your documentation and make a determination there. And basically the more elements, more criteria you can meet with your evidence, the more likely you are to achieve one of the higher standards. I will say the standards or the certification lasts for 2 years as long as your institution maintains its membership for those 2 years. And if you do not achieve the standard that you were hoping for, you can reapply during those 2 years to be upgraded, or you can wait until the 2-year expiration for a new application. That's up to you. So the application itself is relatively straightforward. This is what you'll see online at the top of the application form, asking for contact information and name of your institution. We do ask for president, liaison, and institutional researcher, since those are the folks who are most usually deeply in touch with the kinds of information that we're trying to get our hands on. And Uh, if you are not one of those people, but you're the one filling out the form, then we'll ask for your contact info as well. So any of those up to 4 people will be the ones who are contacted with the results once we've made our determination. The person who filled out the application will be the one who receives the first version of the digital badge, whatever you've earned. And there's also a certificate that goes along with it that carries the same serial number, but can be printed or shared in many different ways. Once you get past the basic information, there are 5 categories that where we find our criteria. And we'll go through each of those so that you can understand what we're looking for and the kinds of things that might be able to meet the standards. Let me, it's up here. Here we go. All right. First up is training and hiring. Sorry, I got to move my little window here so I can see what's going on. There we go. Okay. So in the effort or in pursuit of trying to involve as much of the campus as possible, we would like to see, as part of your sustainability, the caring campus principles being built into training and hiring processes. Oh yes, sorry, Crystal, I did mean to say that. There will be a copy of this presentation. I'm actually going to drop a PDF of it here in the chat at the end so that you can download it directly if you'd like. But you can always just contact us. There will be a recording available. We're being recorded as we speak, but also the slides themselves are available upon request. So there we back to the training and hiring with Caring Campus. What we'd like to see is of these 7 criteria is see Caring Campus included somewhere in there. So for example, you can have new employee orientation. Usually there is some sort of orientation for new employees, but we want to make sure that you include your Caring Campus behaviors as part of that orientation. Better yet, would be to have a specific training for new employees that is focused on the Caring Campus behaviors. It would be great to see Caring Campus and the behaviors and principles incorporated into things like evaluation and ongoing training, as well as job descriptions, hiring processes, and hiring ads. Part of the interview process is the hiring processes there. We have seen some of these implemented at various colleges across the university, across the country. So we know that these kinds of things can be really effective in supporting the sustainability and the institutionalization of Caring Campus at your institution. The next category, my thing will go, there we go, is accountability and data use. There are only a few items in this particular category, but they're particularly important because we are, of course, the Institute for Evidence-Based Change, and that means that we like to have everything be based in data informed, and make sure that outcomes are being reported from that data accurately and efficiently. So before we get to the data, of course, it's important that whatever group you have that runs a Caring Campus has regular meetings. Sorry. So yes, evidence. I would presume that we would need to provide evidence with documentation. The application itself is an online part of an online portal. So yes, the application is online and the documentation files can be uploaded as part of that, Holly. Thank you for asking. So regular meetings, yes, as well as once you start collecting data, not just reporting that to the community, to your institution, to stakeholders, but also using that data. And that's where the data informed culture part comes in. That's the highest level of data use, is using the data that you collect to inform the ways that you uh, enhance your policies and practices on campus. Um, it's not just enough to be collecting information. And in fact, that's one of the things that motivated our co-founders, Brad Phillips and Jordan Horowitz. They started out as data scientists, and their big question was, how can we use all this data that we collect to make student success better, to make lives for students better? And that's what we're ultimately looking for, is for you to find ways to collect your data and then find ways to use that data to improve student success, to improve the Caring Campus sustainability. We do have on our website an institutional researchers toolkit, which has wonderful examples of ways that you can collect data for that purpose. It's mostly qualitative data, but we also have an institutional researchers advisory council that is working on qualitative measures that can be used, quantitative measures that can be used to inform our progress as well. Next up is leadership, and this is about the support and involvement of leadership in your Caring Campus program. Note that we use the word program rather than initiative, because there are so many fly-by-night initiatives. You know, I know you've seen them. They come and they go, but this Caring Campus is intended to be programmatic. It's intended to be something that finds its way into the entire culture of your institution and support all of the initiatives and other programs that are going on campus. And so with that in mind, we'd like to see evidence of senior leadership's involvement in Caring Campus, whether that's through meetings or through activities and events and celebrations, that sort of thing. Also, ideally, policy support. Yes, there will be a copy of this presentation. You're right, there's a lot to remember. Ideally, one of the things that we find when we implement Caring Campus is that there are often policies in place that make it difficult for us to connect with students the way we'd like to create the sense of belonging, the sense of welcome that makes them want to stay and increases persistence, retention, and ultimately graduation or other forms of success, transfer, etc. And so when there are changes in policy, we'd like to see documentation of that, so that demonstrates your commitment to that sense of belonging as represented through the Caring Campus program. At the higher levels, there's also your governing boards, whether that's your Board of Regents or whoever it might be that oversees the entire operations of the management. There are 3 levels there. We'd like to make sure, of course, that they at least know what's going on. But if they get involved, if they come to events and celebrations, that's even better. And then, of course, and we have seen a couple of examples of this across the country, if they build into their board policies principles of Caring Campus, then that is evidence that it's being adopted at the highest levels and being disseminated throughout the entirety of the institution. That's the kind of evidence that we're looking for. The next category is celebration and culture. Celebration is really, really important to Caring Campus. It's not just, again, since it's not just an initiative, but it's instead part of culture. We want to make sure that just like we recognize through certification your hard work, that the hard work of the employees is being recognized on campus within the institution as well. Celebration isn't just necessarily a party, but it can be things like recognition programs, showing the sort of cheerleader spirit of having a champion among your leadership, um, campus-wide celebrations, perhaps an annual Caring Campus festival or some other sort of event that celebrates the activities and the principles of Caring Campus. Leadership at meetings, there is a cultural issue where what we recommend actually is starting or having at some point in every meeting from top to bottom, it doesn't matter what level the meeting is, Caring Campus moment where you share with each other perhaps moments or activities since the last meeting that demonstrate the principles of Caring Campus and the behaviors that we're trying to commit to. And those, if they're included in things like meeting minutes, for example, um, those are easily documented for the purposes of your certification. We also have, I mentioned the network before. Uh, there are webinars like this one on a semi-regular basis. We have 2 to 3 every semester, excuse me. And so evidence of participation can be coming to one of the webinars or coming to the conference that we have coming in San Diego in November, or participating, logging into the searchable database that members have access to. There are many different ways to show that you are participating in the network, but the purpose behind that is, again, to demonstrate a commitment to sustainability, to institutionalization, to making sure that the principles and the behaviors are embedded within your institution's culture. We're in over 130, well over 130 at this point, colleges and universities nationwide. And we have seen variations of all of these types of behaviors in some form or another across the country. And what has motivated us to create the certification process is really to recognize the kinds of work and commitments that all of our institutions, all of our Caring Campuses have made. The kind of progress and the innovations that are there are just frankly phenomenal. It's a joy always to be seeing what's going on at campuses around the country. The final criterion or category of criteria that we look at is messaging. That's about communication, whether it's internal, communicating amongst employee groups, whether it's within the institution so that students and other stakeholders know what's going on with Caring Campus and understand that it's there and what it's for. And also beyond the institution, out into the community in general, whether that's through advertising and marketing or whether that's through community outreach, through perhaps caring activities that support wellness in the community. There are lots of different ways that these kinds of things can be shown, but the idea that your Caring Campus program needs to be visible is really, really important. One of the easiest ways to do that, of course, is through signs and banners, through creating your own customized Caring Campus logo. There's nothing wrong with using ours, of course, but we see a lot of folks create their own local, you know, Caring Campus or their own specifically custom branded version of the program. And there are lots of examples within the searchable database that network members have access to. I mentioned that before, and we can talk about that more again at the end. So yeah, logos, branding, newsletters, websites, web pages, even just specific mentions, for example, in the footer of your web pages, saying that you're a Caring Campus. All of those put out the message of what you're trying to do and reinforce to all stakeholders, to the community, to anyone who has any communication with you, that Caring Campus is a part of what you're trying to be, not just what you're trying to do. All right, so there's a lot there. And once again, don't worry, the presentation will be available once we're all done. Natalie, thank you, has put a link to the actual application in the chat already. So you'll see where the files can be uploaded. But one of the questions is, why would you go to all the work? And there's a very good question. Thank you, Holly. Is there a deadline or a schedule for submitting applications? No, we accept certification applications on a rolling basis. As I said, they're good for 2 years. But understanding that, you know, everybody's got different kinds of workloads, and it is not necessarily a trivial task to amass all of this evidence. We'd like to see them preferably in the spring toward the first half of the year, but we will accept applications on a rolling basis. So the question I have on the screen here is, why bother? Why would you go to all this trouble? So first and foremost, once again, it's about recognition and celebration of your efforts, the progress that you've made as an institution. You know, it's something that is absolutely worth noting and sharing with everyone in the whole world, essentially, that you have made your commitment to student success through the sense of belonging that comes with Caring Campus. And we decided that it's past time that we should find a way to recognize that in an official way, and hence the certification program. This also provides, because we're doing the evaluation, independent documented validation of your sustainability, of your institutionalization. So when you go to stakeholders and you talk about Caring Campus and what it means to your institution, the certification backs up your claims with our own validation, our stamp of approval, if you will, over the activities that you've undertaken, so that it's not just your word. People don't just have to take your word for it, but we have we provide third-party validation, which is part of why I like that word from earlier about how it makes you feel to be recognized. Being able to demonstrate or display the badge and certificate can also strengthen credibility with students and with the community. We know that in some places, depending on your local culture, there may or may not be a lot of faith in higher education. And this is the type of thing that can provide great steps in improving credibility with the community and perhaps attracting even more students for enrollment. I have mentioned more than once that Caring Campus is not an initiative, but a program that is meant to support other programs and initiatives. And the sustainability and institutionalization methods that we try to support and encourage through certification also support the alignment of Caring Campus with the other programs and initiatives that are always going on any college or university campus. We want to make sure that it becomes, as I say, part of the culture. It's something that is pervasive. That's the word I'm looking for, that pervades the entire institution. And lastly, the application itself and these criteria that we offer provide a framework for continuous improvement, so that you can see, even if you're not doing not doing everything that is on the application, regardless of what standard you have achieved. There are ideas there and further principles that you can use to expand your program even further, using the examples that are found from other schools, so that you don't have to try and imagine these things from scratch. We believe that the certification process offers a really strong framework that can really be the basis for a powerful institutionalization movement for Caring Campus at your college or university. Oh, yes. Thank you, Natalie. Right. There is no deadline. As I mentioned, we accept applications for certification on a rolling basis. However, at the conference in November, we will be recognizing those applications that have come in by the end of September. The anything that comes in after that, we won't necessarily have time to be able to review and take care of the documentation on those. But there will be an awards ceremony at the end of the conference on the final day. It's Friday, November 14th this year, where we will recognize all of the colleges and universities that have earned certification at any level. Right, there you go. So with that, I'm going to take a breath and bring things to you all. What have we got as far as questions or comments or feedback about the certification process? You can feel free to unmute and ask by voice or put your questions in the chat. I know it might take a moment to type in your questions, so we'll be patient here. Oh, and while we're waiting, well, we'll do that at the end. Nothing? Oh, great. So I have had a very thorough presentation. Excellent. Well, there are a few more things while you're still thinking of questions that I'd like to share. And that is different ways to stay connected within what we're starting to call the Caring Campus ecosystem. It's more than just the coaching that you're familiar with, and then the regular meetings and other kinds of contact that you may have had with us. But as I mentioned, the Caring Campus Network is a membership program where actually the first year of membership is free, and then there's just a small fee every year for membership thereafter. And with membership in the network comes a series of benefits, including some of our webinars are not going to be free like this one was. And we'll be charging $99 per registrant. But if you come from a network member institution, you can attend those webinars for free and continue to have that experience at no charge for the duration of your membership. I also mentioned that there is a searchable database, what we call the artifacts database, where we collect examples of the kinds of evidence that can go into certification, but also just, ideas and proof positive, really, of what people are doing for their sustainability efforts, whether that's logos that have been created at the local level or pictures of events so that you can see what kinds of things people are doing for Welcome Week, for example, or videos that have been created. We have videos that are demonstrations of behaviors. We have videos that are testimonials about the power of Caring Campus and how it has affected employees and students alike. Documents such as the planning documents that we talked about. There are schools that have built Caring Campus into their strategic plans or into board documents, into other kinds of governing documents. When we can, we collect those. And also, all of you are welcome to submit those. Just contact me directly. because we're trying to grow the database as much as possible. We already have several hundred, a few hundred items in the database as it is, but we'd like to keep it growing all the time. And then last but not least, also, and thank you, Natalie, for putting the conference link in the chat. But members, network members can also get reduced registration fees for the conference. You save, I think it's $100 or so on your registration fees. And of course, eligibility for certification, once again, is a benefit of membership in the network, but network membership, therefore, is required in order for you to be able to get certified. We also have the Caring Campus Academy, and this fall is starting in a week, next week. So if you're interested, it's not too late to sign up, but the Caring Campus Academy is an intensive online course. There's a separate one for staff, one for faculty, and one for administrators, with a certain number of weekly sessions that introduce and strengthen knowledge of the Caring Campus behaviors. We originally offered the Academy a year ago, or was it 2 years? Anyway, it's been a while, as a way for institutions to provide the kind of training that we were talking about for onboarding new employees, so that there could be something more than just, maybe a handout that says what the behaviors are, but rather something a bit more in depth, in case you don't have the capacity to put that kind of training into your own system. You can send your people to the Academy. But we found that it's valuable not just for new employees, but also for anyone who might need a refresher or who wants to see how things have evolved. The behaviors have evolved over time. Over the last 8-9 years that Caring Campus has been around, and we've been updating all the time to try to make sure that we are doing the best by our Caring Campuses. And so, getting that up-to-date information is, or going to the Academy is a really effective way to get that up-to-date information. The Academies also, because people come from around the country, are a great way to meet colleagues at other institutions, to build your network within the Caring Campus family, as it were, so that, again, you don't have to invent things from scratch. We really believe that you shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel, but instead, we cross-pollinate ideas, we share challenges and successes and ideas with each other through the Academy, that can motivate and mobilize and enhance the Caring Campus experience for everybody. The same thing is true for the conference. That's really the main reason that we are putting the conference together, is to allow people to meet each other in person, for the same reason, to be able to share their Caring Campus experiences, to share successes and challenges and how they've been overcome, to show off the kinds of things that you do to make Caring Campus successful for the sake of your students' success. One of the things that I'd like to encourage also is proposals for presentations at the conference. Basically, if you have ideas on something tangible that can be shared, which is the focus of what we're trying to do with our presentations. It's not just talking at people like we do in the webinars, but instead, presentations should have some sort of tangible takeaway, whether that's templates or instructions or tangible action steps that can be implemented relatively quickly. If you have ways to deal with challenges, or if you have examples of the kinds of interesting things that you may have done at your campus, please feel free to submit proposals to present that information. I will say the the presentation slots are starting to fill up. We have been accepting proposals on a rolling basis. So if you want to have a better chance of having your proposal accepted, please do try and get it submitted as quickly as possible. We try to turn around decisions on those within 2 to 3 business days. So it's a pretty fast process. Again, all of these links on this page are live. So you can follow them to any of the information because, again, there is an awful lot here. And it's an awful lot to expect people to remember. But everything's available on our website. You can also contact us directly for more information. We're always here at your for your convenience, for your information, and for your to support what you're trying to do with Caring Campus at your institution. Not on here, also, we have a website, sorry, not a website, a YouTube site where a lot of videos from Caring Campuses are shared. It's YouTube/IEBC Now, which is also our domain name, iebcnow.org. You can go to IEBC Now on YouTube and see what kinds of things other campuses are up to, whether, again, that's demonstrations of behaviors or testimonials from faculty and staff and administrators, or statements from students about how their lives have been changed thanks to the caring culture that they encountered at their particular college or university. It's really really pretty cool to see the different kinds of things that are going on there. And we also, again, really encourage, if you have your own videos to share, we're happy to highlight those on the YouTube channel as well as within the artifacts database. So with that, I'll ask once again if there are questions, comments, concerns, complaints, feedback, compliments, anything at all. This is my contact information. The QR code here is for my digital business card, but you can see my email address and phone number here. Feel free to contact me or anyone else on our team anytime you need any kind of support, any assistance, any information. We're here for you. Other questions, thoughts? Are we excited?
Yes, we are excited. Thank you so much. This was really helpful. I just wanted to thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Brenda, yes. Appreciate it. Yes. Oh, I love the exclamation points. Enthusiasm is fantastic. Yeah, we have found, fortunately, that while, as I mentioned, it's not a trivial task to amass the evidence for the application, it's also something that once you sit down to do it, it doesn't take too long to get it done. I don't have a specific number of, say, hours that you might put into the process. But we'll be talking to the schools that have gone through the process already and to find out exactly how difficult they found the process to be, so that we can try and make things as easy as reasonable for all of our caring campuses across the country. Yes, you'll be able to access this recording as soon as it's available, probably within a day or two after we're done here. Did I see another question? Lots of thank yous. You're very, very welcome. Other questions, other thoughts? Oh, yes, slides. Thank you. Quick. And pull up. Okay, it's a pretty large file, so we will also have it available um, separately from the meeting here, but there is the PowerPoint for download if you're interested directly right now. Oh, I didn't click send. There you go. Give it a moment to upload. You're very welcome, and please feel free to share this information with your colleagues. I know, with webinars, specific times, there's not always the opportunity for people who wanted to be here to be able to attend. That's why we make the recordings available. But please feel free to share the file or to let people know that they can get in touch with us to get more information. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your time, for your enthusiasm. Oh, it's good to see you again, Lawrence. Thank you uh, for your attention and your patience. We are grateful for everyone who is involved in Caring Campus around the country. Thank you very much. I'll stay on in case there are any other questions. But with that, we shall call it a day.
Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. Yeah, we're looking forward to the conference. We're very excited about the conference. That's November 12th through 14th in San Diego.